So I'm going to be completely honest. I don't pay a ton of attention to all the stuff that goes on around the Tate brothers. I didn't even know that their last situation had been resolved, but apparently that was out of the way, and now they have been arrested again for what I think is the same charges, trafficking, but now with minors, which is not good at all. And there's all sorts of stuff going around on the internet, and one of the reasons why people seem to think that they got targeted and arrested again for what they believe to be false claims is because of this clip right here.
I remember on October 7th, I think it was October 8th or 9th, I was arguing with Piers Morgan and I said it's a genocide quite quickly afterwards. And that was during all of the hailstorm of justifications. We were beheading babies and all this garbage, which turned out not to be true. And here we are nearly a year later, and they're still trying to justify thousands of murders a day. I mean, the videos haven't stopped coming out. The endless justifications they keep trying to pull out their ass. But it's not 2 days after October 7th anymore. It's nearly a full year, and they're still committing a genocide. It's almost undeniable at this stage that it's a genocide. And I don't know how any person with a conscience, regardless of their religious beliefs, can view these things and feel like this is justified in any manner. I mean, I only compare it to Russia-Ukraine because it's the next active conflict, right? But imagine Russia was doing this to Ukrainian people and children and babies. Imagine the outroar. It'd be nuclear war by now. We simply wouldn't let it happen. And we're standing by and providing the weapons for this to happen. And I think we need to have a conversation about why that really is. And for us to sit and believe that it's just some big coincidence and an accident and there isn't some kind of deal for this unconditional support that allows them to break every single international law is asinine. I think it's pretty clear to anybody with a brain who's never even read the Talmud or even read the history of Israel. You can just sit and understand that there's something going on here which is nefarious and strange. Is there any other country in the world that we can criticize where we will face this type of backlash from the media, backlash from the banking institutions, backlash from the matrix as a whole, mass cancellation, smear campaigns? Is there any other country on the planet that we can sit and have an open conversation about and ask questions about where we're going to face condemnation and genuine detriment and damage to our everyday lives? Is there any other country you can think of where we can't ask a single question about them?
Now, can I say that it's not possible that something like that could happen? Of course not. Listen, when it comes to the world, I've learned that anything is possible. I mean, we've got a guy who owned an island that brought all sorts of prominent people, rich people from America and across the world to sleep with little kids, and we still don't have a list of who all those people were. So in all reality, anything is really possible. Do I think that that's going to be something that they're going to go after him for? I don't know. But apparently they think that talking about Israel and saying some of the stuff that he did is why they suddenly decided, you know what, we've got to find a way to try to arrest him and put something on him again. And this is what we're going to do. So it's very possible that that's what happened. But for anyone that hasn't seen, this is the video of them getting arrested again.
Wait till you see. Say I'm a lover boy, the mother of my children. Yeah, we've tricked them into having kids. Unbelievable. Wait till you see. Remember the first trial and the media wasn't asking, where's the evidence? This is your chance. This is your chance to renew it. There's no evidence.
You are okay?
Yeah, for now. Compassion, people, we have to. Compassion. Kids don't know. Guys, ask them for evidence. The first file, no evidence. It was all a lie. Ask them this time where the evidence is. This is the most crazy. They have no evidence, no proof. They've just made up a bunch of shit. They're lying and they're desperate. This file is more pathetic than the first one. Christ is king.
Punish. This is wrong. Jesus said, give you other chief. He didn't said go and try to create whatever engagement matrix you are all here trying to do. This is simply deception.
Now, the post where I found the arrest video, they basically said because he got picked up for these reasons, Elon, can you ban him now? And I don't really agree with that yet because he just got picked up, right? So I still follow the innocent until proven guilty. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm not a big fan of them. They've been saying some wild shit on Twitter. They're throwing the N-word around, all sorts of stuff. I'm not like here to be like, yo, let me pander for these guys. That's not my job. Whatever's going to happen in their life is going to happen in their life. But at the same time, we have to uphold some type of society. And to me, there is innocence until proven guilty. You can't just be like, well, because he got picked up for this and we haven't seen the results of it yet, we're going to ban him and get rid of him. I don't really agree with that. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this didn't come up in the initial investigation, because they raided his place. They took all of his shit. They did all sorts of talk to people. And for some reason, none of this came up. Now, you could argue a few different things. Is it because they wanted to hold off on it in case the first stuff didn't stick? Now they have another angle to approach him with. I really don't know, to be completely honest with you. I could not say, but I have seen this one clip floating around and people are using it as saying this is proof that this is what he was doing.
All these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania it's 16, sorry.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit weird to be talking about this topic and suddenly you just slip and say such a young age, but I mean, I don't know. It's just really weird to be like, yo, you know, I'm out here effing all these, and says this age that is clearly, oh, my bad, I didn't mean that age, I meant this age. That does seem odd. Like, I mean, you're in an interview, you're on the spot. There is a chance that you can say things wrong. I say things wrong all the time in videos. I redo intros because I say things wrong. But to throw a randomly different age out there, and I get it. People are like, well, it's only one age difference. It's like, yes, but it's different, right? Like, you should know, like, are you sleeping with people of this age or that age? Like, I feel like you probably have a better idea of that. So I don't know. It's odd. And if he's trying to say that he's out here clapping 16-year-old cheeks because that's what's legal in Romania, that's also a little bit odd, you know, being the age that he is. I think he's like, what, 35, 36-year-old man. So it's a little weird, I'm just going to be honest with you. Doesn't mean that he's trafficking women that are minors, though. I can't say that it does. Like, again, innocent until proven guilty. If they find the right evidence, throw that man away. I'm not here to defend him. I'm not going to try to find some way to spin it. I don't watch his content like that. I'm not one of those people. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean I'm not a supporter of his. I'm not a viewer of his content. I'm not a fan of his work. So I don't know all that much about him outside of some of the stuff that I see on Twitter. But in the past, I also defended certain things because I feel like there is a way of going about stuff. And I'm always going to stand on that. No matter who it is, I'm going to stand on the innocent until proven guilty. Let's get the facts. Let's get the information. Let's not just throw people under the bus because we could find a clip here or a clip there. And, you know, that doesn't necessarily say anything specific. It's just, hey, because he said this or slipped on this, we believe that. Like, I can get behind the thought process, but now we need to dive deeper and find the actual evidence. That's just the way that I go about life. I just feel like it makes more sense. You guys let me know what you guys think down below. But I thought that this was interesting because it keeps popping up on my feed. I've been wanting to get more content out on this channel. I've just been very busy. I'm wearing a hat right now because live streams have messed my life up. I have one shaved leg. I have a mohawk, which I still haven't like cleaned up yet. And, you know, so if you guys are interested, stop in twitch.tv/DwayneTV. It gets wild sometimes. We game, we do music reactions, we do crazy stuff that leaves me regretting my life decisions. But as far as this goes, I don't know yet. Like I said, it's a big charge. And apparently they've already been released. And I don't know if this means that it's over. I'm pretty sure they've just been released as far as being held, and they'll have to then go back and go to court after the investigation and however it works in Romania. But this is what they had to say.
You are okay?
Free man, built differently.
Yes?
Built differently, of course. Better than okay.
You are free? Free.
Listen, I'm going to say something to everybody. Listen to me. I moved to Romania 10 years ago. And I found an amazing country full of beautiful people. And I told the whole world about Romania. If you mention the name Romania anywhere in the world, they'll say, Andrew Tate lives there, Andrew Tate lives there. I've done nothing but promote this country. I've done nothing but say fantastic things about Romania endlessly. And when I did this, people would say to me, if Romania is so nice, if it's so safe, it's so beautiful, why has it got such a bad reputation? And I said, well, there's probably a few bad actors, a few bad people who destroyed the entire reputation. Like the few fools at DCOT who just came along and told us that the mothers of our children are somehow human trafficked. I've been nice, I've been patient, I've played the game, I've respected the judiciary, I've gone to every appointment on time. But they busted my house again. And now I've come along saying there's 35 victims. You know, all 30 of those girls, 30 of them, have statements in our defense. 30 saying we've done absolutely nothing wrong. Two more are the mothers of our children, and 2 more have never even been to Romania. They've never even been here. They just found random girls we knew in other countries and made them sign pieces of paper. This is a setup. It's absolutely disgusting. Fair play to that judge who saw through the and let us free. And also, one more thing. The media is complicit. All of you are. When they first threw us in jail. When they first put us in there, you're all running around saying human trafficker. None of you said, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Where's the pictures? Where's the videos? None. 3 years later, they do the same, and you're all sitting there going, human trafficking. I'm not a human trafficker, clearly. If you human traffic someone, there is evidence. This is a setup, it's a stitch up. The 3 prosecutors at D-Call in my house, I said, why are you here? There's no case. They said, there's a case if we make one. This is a setup. All of it is. And listen, quiet. I'm not talking to you, sir. Be quiet. Be quiet. This is a setup. It is done on purpose, and it is designed to come up with the most heinous possible crimes to slander our name. And every single Romanian citizen should be disgusted that they are spending millions of euros wasting their time trying to put innocent men in jail instead of fixing the roads, fixing the hospitals, fixing this country. You have a beautiful country full of beautiful people, and 3 idiots at D-Call have everything. As for money laundering, sure, I'll approach that. Money laundering, no problem. Supposedly we're money launderers because we buy luxury goods and we try and hide that we buy luxury goods for other people and hide our money. If you buy your girlfriend a handbag in Romania, they charge you with money laundering. This is disgusting. Disgusting. We have children. This is disgusting. Thank you.
So he's a little bit upset, and I completely understand, because let's just say that he really didn't do exactly what he's being charged with. Of course you're going to be mad, especially when you just beat the last charges and proved your innocence. You're going to be a little bit upset. Now, I think it's funny that his brother comes walking out the door like this. My man acting like he just won the war or something. Like it's kind of funny. So, you know, and I also like how Tristan, he just stays quiet. He lets Andrew do the talking because he's clearly the better speaker. And he's just like, I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to let him cook. And some of the things that he said, I completely do agree with, right? Like when he first got caught, everyone just immediately labeled him. And I don't really agree with that, but that's kind of how we are nowadays. Since maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, someone gets in trouble for something, they have to go to court and trial and prove their innocence. But we immediately just say they're guilty. And I get it. Public opinion is different than court opinion, right? Like you're allowed to feel how you feel based on what you've seen, and you're allowed to label somebody. And I'm not here to take that away from anybody. I think that you're free to feel that way if that's how you want to feel. And again, I'm not here to defend this guy. I always try to look at everything as unbiased as I can, as logically as I can. And so that's why I'm taking the approach that I am. The fact that the judge did release him, I mean, I don't know the reasons exactly behind what the judge's thought process was, but you would assume that if you think he's really trafficking, minors and stuff like that, you're not going to let this man back out and trust in all this other stuff. So we'll have to see how it plays. But I want to say he's probably on house arrest, so he's still technically locked down. They're not going to let him leave the country or anything like that. And again, we'll go through this process and we'll see how this all goes. And I don't know what the results are going to be. I do feel like if they didn't find anything before, if their investigation through all that time, because they had him locked down for how long? Months and months and months, where they were supposedly finding evidence and building a case. And all of that fell through, from my understanding. I didn't follow it, but based on what I'm hearing here, it seems as if that was already resolved. And so to me, it's hard to believe that you're going to go from, he was trafficking, but then he's found innocent and let go and everything is kind of let go of. But now it's like, he's doing it again, but it's with minors and it's something from the past. And you didn't find that before. It didn't come up before. I don't really understand that. I mean, maybe because they were already going so hard on just the trafficking in general of people that were of age and trying to get them to do the cam shows and stuff, that even though they may have had other stuff, they couldn't interject it into that same case. I don't know how that works, but you would think that it would have came up. It would have been added charges on top of what was going on. To me, this seems more like, okay, these may not stick. And if these don't stick and we try to add on some more stuff regarding minors with the trafficking like that, it may all just not stick and then we can never revisit it. So it's almost like, let's hold this one in the pocket. You know what I mean? And if that doesn't work out, we'll pull out the next one and we'll get him with that. That's what it feels like. And to me, that feels a little disingenuous, and so I don't know that there's really going to end up being any evidence. And I don't even know what there was initially that brought this about, if it had to do with stuff he said in interviews, or if people are right in him saying what he said about Israel and stuff is what led people to try to get him in this position. I honestly have no idea, but we'll find out as this all plays out. If you guys have more information on it, let me know down below. As things get updated, if some craziness comes out, we'll definitely make another video and talk about it. But it seems like this is all over, at least my Twitter. I don't know if it's all over everybody's, and I thought that it was worth talking about. Plus, it was a good way for me to plug the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DwayneTV. Stop in sometime. I'm just letting you know. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out what happens from here, but I'm I'm not going to hold my breath. I feel like if he got off the first time, he's probably going to get off this time. Does that necessarily mean that you did nothing wrong? It doesn't. People get proven innocent, but they've really done some shit because there wasn't enough evidence to prove it. So it's possible, but I'm not going to sit here and I don't spend my life trying to figure it out to label someone. I just have to trust that the justice system and the investigators and all these people are going to get the right amount of evidence to prove something if it's actually true. And if they don't, then I have to believe that it's probably not true. And that's just the way that I'm going to go about it, unless I'm given information that proves 100% that it was the other way. But I feel like if that existed, then they won't be able to get out of it, right? Does that make sense? But until something comes up that makes me personally question it, and you know, I can't just sit here and label them because they got arrested. I don't think that that's fair. Like, I was arrested once in the past, and I was arrested for menacing. The person in the statement said that I circled them with a knife up like this, like it's a scary movie. And they were just out walking their dog, and I circled them with a knife. And that's not true at all. What actually happened was my friend was meeting up with this other person's friend to have a fight, which should never happen because we were all drunk. And I don't believe they were, so that was already a disadvantage. And the kid had his friend with a pit bull, and they wouldn't let anybody get near the fight. And my friend ended up on his back, and he started digging his thumbs into his eyes. And so we're like, we got to break it up. But the dog is like coming at us, trying to bite us. It's a big dog. So I went to my friend's car. I said, what do you have? Do you have something I can use to try to, you know, push them back with the dog, like to scare them back so we could break the fight up? That was literally my only intention. And of course, he pulls out a steak knife. I don't know why he had a steak knife from his grandma's house, but I'm like, oh, this is what I got to work with. It's what I got. So I used it, tried to conceal it. Apparently someone in an apartment saw me with it, so they called the cops. And then I went over and I was like, I got the knife, like, get the dog back. I don't want to hurt the dog, but I will do what I have to do to break this fight up. And so they ended up backing away. He got off of my friend. We broke it up. Then they took off. And then next thing you know, we turn around and the cops are all over the street because they heard someone had a weapon. So I get arrested. They don't ask any of our statements. They come back looking for their phone. They ask the kid his statement. He says that we're just walking the dog, and he came out of the car with the knife up like this and circled us. And so that's what I was getting charged with menacing for. But that wasn't the truth. And thankfully, I was a youthful offender, so I was able to get myself out of it with like a year conditional discharge. I didn't want to go to court because it becomes a he said, she said situation. And that's just not, it's like, who knows if you're going to win that? And then so I just was like, whatever, I'll take the plea deal of the youthful offender stuff. I'll do the year conditional discharge. It's not the end of the world. No big deal. And I'll just move on with my life, right? But there are times where stuff can be said and things can be presented in a certain way where now, if you were to just look at those charges, you're like, oh my God. And the statement says Dwayne got out with a knife like this. That's crazy. He's a crazy person, but the reality is very much different from what was on paper. So maybe because of my own situation, I try to keep an open mind, and I need to actually see some evidence. I need to see something that shows me that I should feel differently about this. Even if I don't like that person and I'm not a big fan of them, I'm not going to throw them under the bus just because of that. I don't think that that's fair to let that fuel the way that I look at something. I need to try to be unbiased and logical about everything in life because that's just the best way to go about life. Otherwise, you end up in this weird world that we're in 2024. That's just my opinion. So let me know what you guys think down below. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys in the live streams, and I will catch you in the next one, homies.